What's up, everybody? Welcome. A hobby drive on a Friday morning. First one in, oh man, has to be a year, 2 years. I don't know. Been a long time. But anyway, so yeah, driving into work on a Friday morning. Fridays are usually the only time that I have a lot of time to drive to work. Most days, my commute to work is a grand total of about 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes each way. Whereas now, on Fridays, I'm going out to a place that is a good 45 minutes outside of the town that I live in, but only on Fridays. So that gives me a lengthy time that I could talk if I choose to. And today I'm turning on the camera because I choose to talk. And yeah, like I said, it's been a while, so everybody out there that's still wondering what's up with me, I am still alive. I am still here in South Korea. I'm currently turning a curve, about to get on the expressway. So you're gonna hear like a little beep and some noise and some, a lady talking as I go through the toll gate.
하이패스 차로로 정상 진입하였습니다. 카드 잔액은 24,010원입니다.
So nothing much has really changed with that. You've heard that all before, and you've heard it again. So, yeah. But, so this here hobby drive. What do I have to talk about hobby related? Am I even still in the hobby? Well, it's a complicated answer. I am still in the hobby, as in I still have all of my cards. Still have my collection and everything. But this summer I am planning to reorganize and organize and hopefully get a large portion. And when I say large portion, I mean a 90 to 95% portion of my collection ready to sell off, hopefully. Not planning on getting out of collecting, but at the same time, I don't need the shit that I have. I've got way too much. Way too much. Way too much for where I live. Way too much for if I ever have to move. Like, all of that. So, all of this just needs to go. It really does. Like, or most of it needs to go. I need to make that collection small. So, in making the collection small, what is that going to look like? At one time I was thinking about I should do it like this, and I should, make a single collection around just Hall of Fame autographs and just have Hall of Fame autographs and one of each player, and that's it. Nothing else. And then I've thought about I should do a collection just around a single player like I've got Bob Gibson or whoever, and not stray from that. But those things, I don't know, they really aren't me when it comes to collecting. That is me letting someone else shape my collection in a way that I'm not necessarily that interested in. It's cool. It's cool when I hear other people talk about that type of collecting. It's cool when I hear somebody talk about oh, I only collect this, or I only collect that. But me, I have a hard time with only. I have a hard time with only. I have a hard time with that commitment to only. So, yeah, I think my collection, as I start to sell off and everything, what will my collection look like? Well, I have a feeling that it's not going to be an only collection. It's going to be a collection of just things that I value in some way personally. For example, as a kid, from the time that I can remember, now, I've been a St. Louis Cardinals fan for years and all of that. But even when I was a St. Louis Cardinals fan, I was a Nolan Ryan collector. I collected Nolan Ryan. He was the only person I collected. I had friends and cousins and stuff. They collected Frank Thomas. They collected Ken Griffey Jr. They collected Sammy Sosa, whoever. But I only collected Nolan Ryan. And at one point, my collection was basically just Nolan Ryan. With some, 88 Donruss and 89 Tops and all that kind of shit, like scattered and thrown all in there of random players. Because back then, I was buying those 89 Tops packs for, I don't even know what they were, 89 cents for 50 cards or something. I don't even remember the prices, but they were cheap. You got a big fat stack of cards, stuff like that. Buying them at the Piggly Wiggly. So I had my base cards and all that. And a lot of that was my trade bait as well, because I would, I would get a Frank Thomas and I would trade it off for a Nolan Ryan. I would get a Ken Griffey Jr. I would trade it off for a Nolan Ryan. And that's back when trades were conducted with me and my friends and cousins. We're sprawled out on the living room floor. We've got our binders out. We've got our stacks of cards. We got our shoe boxes of cards. Everything is spread out. And it's like, I'm going to give you this Sammy Sosa for a Rob Dibble or some kind of shit like that. It's just whatever. Shit's just flying back and forth. So, yeah, that's basically what, that's how I started collecting. That's how I grew up collecting. And Nolan Ryan was my guy. I've gone all around all of this to come back to my collection going forward is probably going to be a random, mishmash of things. I'm gonna, maybe get a sentimental Nolan Ryan. I'll get a sentimental Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas. And the thing is, I know that, you can easily say, sentimental, shouldn't that be the rookie card? Not necessarily. I mean, we're talking about cards that I really liked growing up. And quite honestly, most of the time they weren't the rookie card, because rookie cards were expensive. And unless I pulled one from a pack, I usually wasn't getting a rookie card. There wasn't eBay and all of these things like we have now, where you can easily go and, track down a card or something like that. Back then it was like a pack, a friend, or the occasional flea market card show or something like that. And there were card shops, but there were no card shops where I grew up at. Like, our card shop was the Piggly Wiggly, buying packs, that were sitting there beside the cash register. That was our card shop where I grew up. To actually get to a card shop, it would be an hour drive to Jackson at the time. And, my parents weren't going to drive me to Jackson to buy baseball cards. I had friends that their parents used to do that. And that's not me saying anything bad about my parents. That's not how I grew up, and that's not how we were. It's like, yeah, you can get some cards at Piggly Wiggly. We're not driving to Jackson to get cards. We're gonna go fishing or whatever we were doing. To be quite honest, we're gonna go play baseball, because that's what I always did. I played baseball. love going out and just throwing and hitting and having a good time, So, anyway. But, yeah, so going forward, like I said, this summer, I hope to sit down, reorganize, get a cell pile together. And as I said, that cell pile is going to be rather large, probably 95% of what I own, so long as it's sellable. And this is what I mean by sellable. I do have a lot of bulk that is not sellable. Not sellable for me. Now, it could be sellable for someone like Bo, because Bo is gonna, he sells bulk. He does his auctions and all that. He's in the business. Those things are valuable to him. They're not valuable to me. Nobody in Korea, they will take my bulk, but they will take my bulk in the way that I have gotten rid of it in the past, where I simply said, here is a box size of cards. It probably has about this many cards in it. Most of it is going to be commons with some, stars that are like 8th year or 9th year or whatever. And some rookie cards of busts and things like that. But just basically more or less worthless commons in terms of value. I'm not saying that they're worthless in terms of sentimental value to people and stuff like that. I'm just saying, in terms of actual money value. And what I would do, I would say, I'll get this box, give me, $10 for shipping. And they would always go. People would always take them off my hands. But, I don't even know that I really want to do that. So I'm kind of at a crossroads where I don't really know exactly what I want to do with that stuff. Because I don't know that I want to do that, because that's a lot of hassle doing a bunch of little boxes. And that's the reason why I said I don't want to do that. Because when I was doing that, I was doing small boxes that could be shipped for like $5 a pop, and easily shipped, and not too heavy and all that. But I really don't want to ship 40 different boxes. I want to ship 1 or 2 big ass boxes and be done with it. Time is money, as they say. So that's kind of what that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm dealing with, and I believe probably in my last video that I came on 1 or 2 years ago, whenever it was, I think I talked about downsizing. Well, guess what? I never downsized. I sold a few cards. I sold my Stan Musial Burcross that I had. And, I don't know if I think that was the only thing I sold. I sold a Stan Musial Burcross, graded Stan Musial Burcross. Sold it for like $150. Back 2 years ago or something like that. So, yeah. But I have a lot more to sell. That includes my Bob Gibson rookie card. I plan to, honestly, I plan to sell most of my Bob Gibson collection. Even though I collected the entire run, rookies through and all of that stuff, and a lot of other stuff, I plan to sell the large majority of it. Lou Brock, plan to sell a large majority of my Lou Brock collection. Basically, that's the only way I can sell 90 to 95% of it, is I've got to sell some of that stuff. Otherwise, I'm still going to have a huge part of my collection, because that is what a lot of my collection is built around. And the thing is, those things are the things in my collection that actually do have some monetary value in a lot of ways. So I don't need the Bob Gibson Player Run. That's for other people. Let me keep a few Bob Gibson cards that I really enjoy, and that will be good enough for me. What cards am I going to keep that I enjoy? I don't know. I'm just going to have to sit down and look through my collection and make those decisions, make those choices. I want to keep this card. I want to keep this card. And I know that everyone would say, like, well, you really should keep the Bob Gibson rookie card. I mean, I would like to, but at the same time, I will be 100% transparent with this. I got that card for $100 like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't even know, 6 years ago or something. Got it for like $100. Last time I checked, in the graded condition and stuff that it was in, I want to say it's about $500 or $600. Money talks. Let's just face it. That money, that's worth a lot more to me than the actual card. And I'm speaking, when I speak in values, I'm saying $500-$600. I mean, if I sell it in Korea, converted won value, the won is absolutely terrible at the moment. It actually wouldn't be $500 or $600 US dollars. It would be, I don't know, maybe 300 USD, something like that. So, I'm behind some people who are driving like 60 miles an hour on the expressway, or 60 kilometers an hour on the expressway. They can't decide to like shit or get off the pot. So I did. But yeah. So like I said, a lot of the collection to be sold off. Autographs. I'll probably be selling. The thing is, when I look at my collection, when I think about my collection, I have some pretty nice vintage to sell off that holds some, decent value, monetary value. I have some decent autographs that I can sell off that hold some decent value, things like that. I don't really have random rookie cards or anything like that anymore. I do have some, I have them, but they're all like the crap scrub players that washed out. Because all the good ones, all the good first Bowmans, all the good rookie cards and stuff, they've been sold off. Although I do have my Hall of Fame graded rookie collection that I started. Most of that will be sold off. I did sell some of those back a couple of years ago. Sold a few of them. And we're talking like, these are cheap slabs. We're talking about, $6 slabs, $10 slabs, stuff like that. These are 8s and 9s of Junk Wax Hall of Fame, slabs. 8s and 9s Junk Wax Hall of Fame slabs. They're not worth a lot of money. They're worth, $5, $4, $3, stuff like that. So a lot of nickeling and diming in that collection. That's the reason why I started the collection, because I'm a cheap collector, honestly. So I like those cheap things, and it just gave me a way to build a collection of cards that I was fond of, because a lot of those cards that I bought were cards that I was pulling out of packs, when I was a kid, in the late 80s, early 90s, stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm going to sell off a lot of that. Honestly, probably the first stuff that I'm going to list to sell is mostly going to be graded stuff. Graded stuff is easier to sell. And this is what I mean by graded stuff is easier to sell. You can actually, like, look it up. You know, PSA 8 Frank Thomas rookie card. And it's going to give you some good, solid
통행료
price points.
2,900원이 정상 지불되었습니다.
And also,
카드 잔액은 21,110원입니다.
this lady here, she's talking to me, charging me my toll. But yeah, like I said, you can get good, solid price points on those cards. And no questions about them. And this is what I mean. Anytime I post a raw card, oh, how are the corners? How are the edges? How are this, that? Doesn't matter if you write that, you know, they may not be perfect. I'm not a grader. You're still going to get those questions. I don't want those questions. So I think to ease my way into the selling, it's probably going to be graded cards first. So the graded cases will be pushed out. Also, I will be selling some of my KBO collection stuff. You know, like I've got some. I started collecting some of the older stuff and things like that. Probably going to sell off most of it. There are some cards that I do want to keep. Now, here's the good thing about some of the cards that I want to keep. So, I love some of the older KBO players that have all retired now. Fortunately, some of the cards that I want to keep and some of the older, you know, card sets and stuff, I have multiples of those cards. So, as a result, I can just pick one and just sell the rest. You know, like that. And it doesn't even have to be the best one. It could be the best one. You know, to be quite honest, it probably would be the best one because why not? Why not keep the best for yourself and sell off the rest? You know, so yeah, this is a long ramble. I don't know if you've missed me or not, but like I said, I'm back for this ramble. Like I said, just to let everybody know that I'm still here, and I do still watch, you know, you guys on YouTube every now and then. I don't spend that much time on YouTube anymore. So, and I know that some of you that have followed me for quite a long time, you know that I'm into photography and have basically I ramped up my photography and stuff in terms of what I was doing, and it's, you know, it's been an up and down thing. Like, there are times when I'm really hard on the photography, like going and doing, and then there are other times when I'm like, you know, I can't be bothered by it. Actually, right now, I'm kind of in a can't be bothered state. I haven't really done any photography in about 1 to 2 months. I've just been, you know, haven't felt like going out and doing it. But I have been doing a lot of photography related stuff, just stuff at home. You know, I've been building stuff. I've become a tinkerer, I guess you would say. I've been building automatic film processing labs. I've been building film, you know, digital scanning equipment. I've just been 3D printing my ass off, building this, building that, designing this, designing something else, and been enjoying it, really enjoying it. Takes me back to my childhood, takes me back to when I was a kid, where back to the time when I was like, you know, of course, I wanted to be many things growing up, but I remember the time in my life when I was like, I wanted to be an inventor. What do you want to invent? Things. I want to be an inventor. So I remember that time, and it takes me back to that. Like, I'm not inventing anything, but at the same time, I am making things. Sitting there, like drawing up, plans and designs, and then, getting that all in and all the measurements in and getting everything put in so I can print all of it. And, yeah, like it's been enjoyable. Sometimes it's frustrating, but it's been enjoyable. So I've been doing a lot of photography stuff. Not, my baseball cards, they've been sitting on the shelf. But what else am I going to do with them? I'm not going to pull them down every night and caress them. Like, I don't have any desire to do that. But like I said, I do still have my collection. I do still want to keep parts of my collection. So don't think that I am... By the way, my phone is all over the place. But it wouldn't be a hobby drive if my phone wasn't all over the place. Got like a random viewpoint as well. Like, basically, I have a broken phone holder in my car right now. Like, it's broken. I need to replace it. I've needed to replace it for a long time. I haven't replaced it. And, yeah. So, anyway, we'll just do what we're doing with what we have. I could 3D print one, I guess. But, yeah, so, anyway, like, I kind of hit a wall there with my phone, like, getting all jiggly and jangly. But, yeah, so that's what I've been up to. So, yeah, so before I go, like, Bo, Zach, Porter, all you guys, like Herman, like everybody, like I'm still here. I'm still, still think about you guys. Just watched Bo last night, and when I say, I've actually watched Bo a couple of times in the last couple of nights, like old, and when I say old, it was his more recent videos of his hobby evolutions, but they're like a day or two old. I haven't made any actual lives because, well, I don't ever know when they're going to be. I don't even think he knows when they're going to be. At least that's what I'm sensing now. He doesn't even know when they're going to be. So, and like opposite ends of the world, very opposite time zones. It's hard for me to like be like, okay, I'm gonna commit this time waiting for this. So yeah. So anyway, we're at about almost 30 minutes. I'm gonna cut this right here. I'm about 10 minutes away from work. So everybody, I will hopefully catch you all sometime again in the future. Maybe next week. Who knows? Depends on what I feel like. And by the way, another thing, guys, I don't like Twitter, Instagram, all of that. I deleted. And what I mean by deleted, like, I still have my accounts, but I logged out of all of them. I deleted all of them from my devices. I logged out of them on my computers, closed them down. I don't look at social media anymore. So if any of you have messaged me or tried to get in touch with me or anything via, Twitter more especially, or Instagram or something like that, just know that I haven't ignored you, but I just don't use those things anymore. And I haven't even been logged into them. So I guess in that sense, you could say I have ignored you. I've ignored logging into them to check. So anyway, I apologize for that, but leaving those platforms, and Instagram was a more recent, I left Instagram more recently. Twitter, I seriously left 1 or 2 years ago. I don't even remember when I left Twitter. And like I said, my account is still there, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't log in. I don't look at it. So anyway, but yeah. So until next time, everybody have a good one. Keep collecting. I will keep some of my collection, and hopefully I can get this all sorted out and get it into the hands of people that will enjoy them over the next few months. Catch you next time.